Imagine waking up in a world centuries before smartphones, electricity, or the comforts you take for granted. The air feels different, thicker, tinged with the scent of wood smoke, dung, and a hint of something unidentifiable. There are no buzzing alarms, just the crowing of a rooster or the bustle of street vendors setting up for the day. Your first challenge arrives swiftly. Medieval times are nothing like the world you know. The moment you open your eyes, you're confronted with your first test. Where's the bathroom? Forget porcelain toilets and toilet paper. In even the wealthiest homes, you might have a chamber pot beneath the bed. But for common folk, the answer is simple: the outdoors. In a medieval town, you might find yourself squatting in a communal outhouse, hoping the pit isn't overflowing. In the countryside, privacy is just a bush away. Hygiene is a concept, not a practice, and soap is a luxury you're unlikely to possess unless you're among the elite. Bathing happens rarely, usually just a few times a year, and warm water is a precious resource. Now, imagine breakfast. You reach for a modern kitchen, but instead you find a smoky, dimly lit room with a simple hearth. There's no bread in a plastic bag, no eggs neatly packaged, no coffee machine in sight. Your options are dictated by the season and the harvest. Maybe a coarse piece of black rye bread, if yeasts cooperated, spread with a thin smear of lard. If you're lucky, you might have some chewy, tough cheese, or a weak ale, safer than the local water, which teems with invisible threats. Boiling water to drink is a luxury limited to those who can afford the fuel to heat it. Basic nutrition is inconsistent and limited. Fresh fruits and leafy greens are mostly seasonal and scarce. Scurvy, rickets, and other deficiencies haunt communities through the winter, and the bland, monotonous food does little to help you recover from a bad night's sleep on a straw mattress filled with chaff and insects. Food safety is a gamble. Storage is rudimentary, with salted meats and dried beans keeping hunger at bay, but at a cost to your digestive system. Ready for the day, you consider brushing your teeth. But toothbrushes haven't arrived from distant lands yet, and toothpaste is non-existent. Perhaps a frayed twig or a rinse with vinegar or salt is all that's available. Rotting teeth, swollen gums, and persistent bad breath are part of daily life, another danger you never signed up for. Stepping outside, your eyes struggle in the murky daylight. There's soot on the windows, if you're lucky enough to have them, or just an open hole covered with animal hide. The streets are a jumble of mud, stones, and refuse. Rainwater and chamber pot contents flow freely through open gutters, carrying with them a cocktail of diseases like dysentery, cholera, and typhus. On a walk, you notice the pungent, overwhelming smell of unwashed bodies and animal waste. Even in noble halls, servants track mud, manure, and worse onto rush-covered floors. If you fall ill, options are bleak. Medicine is rudimentary, more superstition than science. Local healers offer herbal poultices, bloodletting, or the ever-reliable advice to pray. Clean bandages and sterilization. Not in the medieval vocabulary, even a minor cut can become infected, and without antibiotics, a simple scratch might be fatal. If the town is hit by plague, you'll quickly realize that quarantine means being locked in with the sick, perhaps in your own home. Looking for entertainment? There are no screens, no books unless you're wealthy and literate. An unlikely combination. Social life is relentless. Privacy is almost non-existent, as entire families sleep together in a single room, servants and livestock included. Your sense of personal space is shattered. Villages gossip and news travels by word of mouth, often twisted and blown out of proportion. You try to work, but every job is exhausting. Field labor means endless hours stooped over, often barefoot and exposed to the biting cold or relentless sun. Tools are heavy and inefficient. Your hands blister and bleed. Even artisans, blacksmiths, cobblers, or weavers endure long hours in crumbling workshops filled with smoke, noise, and danger. There are no labor laws or breaks, just survival. Should you complain, remember that social hierarchies are rigid, enshrined in law and custom. Making the wrong gesture, speaking out of turn, or being caught out after curfew all can result in brutal punishments. Whipping, branding, or time in the stocks is punishment for even minor offenses. Justice is swift and often arbitrary, as local lords or church officials wield power with little oversight. Hungry for technology. The pinnacle of innovation is the windmill or maybe a battered wagon. Illumination after dark comes from tallow candles, a smoky, dripping mess, or rush lights dipped in animal fat. Books are handwritten and chained to desks in monasteries to prevent theft. Most people never learn to write, and reading is the privilege of a thin sliver of society. If you're a woman, your world is even smaller. Most women work from dawn to dusk, maintaining the household, caring for children, tending crops, and managing livestock. Rights are minimal or non-existent. Marriage is arranged, legal recourse is elusive, and childbirth is fraught with peril, absent any modern medical care. Children are expected to work as soon as they're able, with childhood as you know it, a fleeting luxury. And then comes the violence. Warfare is common. Conflicts between kingdoms, city-states, or rival clans erupt with terrifying frequency. Armies of conscripted peasants clash with the fury of desperation on battlefields slicked with blood and mud. Shields and armor are heavy. Swords and arrows strike indiscriminately, and the medical aftermath is as grim as the fighting itself. If you happen to be captured, ransom is rare, and mercy rarer still. At night, exhausted, you return to your bed. No sheets, no duvet, just straw and a threadbare blanket. The cries of animals, the shouts of drunken revelers, or the distant threat of wolves keep you alert. The darkness is complete, broken only by fickle moonlight and the occasional snap of fire. In this world, your soft hands would harden quickly, but disease and hunger would test your strength. Your craving for privacy, comfort, hygiene, and simple pleasures would make each hour feel like torture. Lacking essential survival skills, you'd stand out, and a careless mistake, eating spoiled food, drinking bad water, offending the wrong person, could have fatal consequences. The comforts you've known wouldn't just be luxuries, they'd be unimaginable. In short, the reality of medieval life is relentless, punishing, and alien. 24 hours might feel like a lifetime, and every moment would be a test of endurance. In such a world, the past is merciless to the unprepared. Modern sensibilities, bodies, and habits would struggle. Most of us, unused to deprivation and danger, would quickly learn just how lucky we are to live when we do.